And so that one day in September for season 1980 belonged to the Tigers. Congratulations to all at Richmond, President Ian Wilson, Coach Tony Jewell, their captain Bruce Monte, to the Tigers. Very well done for season 1980, and they thoroughly deserved their win. Grand final roundup is your program between now and 9:30. And then we have more football for you in That Is the Season That Was. A look at season 1980 from Go to Woe, and I think you'll find that interesting as well. Well, our grand final roundup, let's commence with the victors. The Southern Cross Hotel is the venue for the Richmond celebrations. Let's go up there now, and Stephen Phillips with Brian Wood.
One of the heroes of Richmond's 1980 premiership win was wingman Brian Wood. Brian, you played in 1973 and 1974 when you won premierships. Was it as big a thrill today or a bigger thrill?
I couldn't say it was any bigger, Steve, but it was certainly as big. The only thing, back in 73 and 74, I probably didn't appreciate the grand final win as much because I was very young at that stage.
Well, can you tell us what happened after you walked off the ground and went into the rooms? What did Tony say to the boys?
Tony didn't say a great deal. He didn't have a speech or anything as such, but the whole place was ecstatic, obviously, but it was just everyone was in together as a group. There wasn't a speech and then another speech and a thank you. It was just all the boys together, which is the way we won it, I think.
Did you pop back over to Punt Road?
No, I didn't call into Punt Road. A lot of the boys did, though, because we had to get changed first to come here.
Can I ask you one thing before you go upstairs and start enjoying the festivities? Do you find that after winning a grand final, you tend to be a little flat for 24 hours or even 48 hours?
Well, ask me in 48 hours and I might be able to give you an answer on that one, but I think tonight won't be flat at all. I think it'll be very, very exciting.
We'll see you later in the night. Have a good night.
Thanks, Stephen.
I would say that would go without saying. Stephen Phillips speaking to wingman Brian Wood from Richmond, and he, like every other player in the Richmond 20 today, really did play a magnificent game. Our grand final roundup will include looks at hotels in the Collingwood and Richmond areas. A couple of little surprises for you. I think you will find the program very, very interesting. First of all, we'll take these messages and be back with more in just a few moments. Well, as part of our grand final roundup now, let's take our nightly check, or weekly check, as it were, on Scott Palmer from the Sunday Press. Well, the coaches had to say what happened after the siren. Sporting editor of the Sunday Press, Scott Palmer.
Well, Pete, we're here for the last time for the year. Richmond coach Tony Jewell, although ecstatic over his side's record win over Collingwood in the grand final, paid the Magpies a tribute in his after-game remarks. Jewell said, quote, "I'd like to think we can build a Collingwood with this team. They are always up there striving for a flag." Jewell, who said he'll be staying sober tonight to savour the win and the looks on his players' faces, said the year started out really to prove something to Kevin Bartlett and Francis Burke. "We wanted to show them that these boys we have in today were as good as those that played in the early premiership side for the Tigers. The Tigers were magnificent," said Jewell, "truly magnificent. And Bartlett, he proved himself one of the game's all-time greats." Collingwood coach Tom Hafey described the game as a nightmare. "It was the worst performance for the year on the worst day possible," said Tom. He spoke to the players for an hour behind closed doors with the Magpie supporters banging at them trying to get in. But he said he couldn't find a reason why they lost today. "He did not overtrain them," said Tom, "but it looked as though they were tired in the legs in that last quarter. Richmond," said Hafey, "they were just too skilled, wanted the ball more, and were really wanting that grand final." Field umpires Bill Della and Ian Robinson said that if they were awarding votes, Brownlow votes that is, for today's grand final, they would have gone to Kevin Bartlett, of course we all know that, Mark Lee and Jeff Rains. Della told the press exclusively, Collingwood did look flat out there on the MCG today. They had nothing at all in their legs, but Bill will be talking more about that in the Sunday Press tomorrow. Back to you, Peter.
Thanks very much indeed, Scotty, and we do thank you for your contributions towards our football roundup on Saturday night, right throughout the season. A job very, very well done. Tommy Hafey was behind closed doors, and getting him out wasn't exactly that easy. Jack Edwards, however, finally managed to succeed, and he did record this interview with a very disappointed Collingwood coach, Tommy Hafey.
Well, Tom Hafey, I don't have to tell the people out there, but you're very, very disappointed.
Yes, I am. Anybody who's been beaten in the grand final by about 14 goals would have to be very disappointed.
When did your worries start during the game?
Well, I suppose Richmond dominated the game right from the very first bounce. Well, halfway through the first quarter, I suppose, when they started getting a bit of a break on us, and we just couldn't arrest that. They played very dedicated and very disciplined, so you know, they were pretty hard to catch. But I thought at half-time that if we could work on the theory that maybe we can go into the last quarter with only 3 or 4 down, we could perhaps still get up. But it wasn't to be. As you know, they kicked the goals in the third quarter, which we were hoping we'd kick.
Well, you know, and realise that you'll get a lot of flack during next week and possibly for a few more weeks about the playing of Ricky Barham.
Oh, yes, we understand that, but Ricky assures us that he was 100% fit. It wasn't his good leg that went, it was his... No, it wasn't his bad leg that went, it was his good leg.
Yeah.
You know, so that was disappointing, of course, and I think it probably didn't help our cause because, you know, I made a point right throughout the whole of the series that we had to have fit players, and we wouldn't have played him unless he was 100% fit. He trained quite well over the weekend, or over the week, and, you know, it's unfortunate that somehow or other he just didn't come up today.
Well, a player you know quite well really gave you a hard time today, Kevin Bartlett.
Yes, Kevin has had a great year, and particularly a great final series, and he was certainly a big worry to us today. But I suppose they hardly had a bad player, which would make his job a little bit easier, of course. But he is a very difficult player to play on, obviously.
What about the move of Richmond? They were criticised for playing Cloak, and yet he's finished up with 6 goals.
Well, he was just too big and strong, unfortunately, for us, and you know, and I guess if he had a kick straighter, he might have kicked a few more goals as well.
Going back into the game, I know you haven't had much time. You had your players locked up for 50 minutes and given them a talking to. What was behind all that anyhow, Tom?
Oh, we didn't give him a talking to at all, Jack. We just had a bit of a discussion. And the players contributed as much as what the coaches contributed.
Tommy Hafey, naturally a very disappointed coach of Collingwood, talking to Jack Edwards after the game at the Melbourne Cricket Ground. You're watching Grand Final Roundup, a special look at what happened on Grand Final Day through the eyes of Channel 7 cameras. And of course we have our cameras at the Southern Cross Hotel, where celebrations are going on for the Richmond team, and up at the Hilton Hotel too. We hope to be going up there a little bit later on, where the Collingwood players and officials are commiserating. Let's take our cameras out now to the heart of Collingwood territory. It's in Johnston Street, one of the hotels out there. Let's go out to Graham McNady and see what is actually happening.
You're very disappointed?
A little bit disappointed, but there's always next year. We'll try our hardest. We tried our hardest. It's just not good enough at the moment.
Have you been following Collingwood for a while?
Yeah, for a fair while. Just not good enough.
Disappointed after today?
Very disappointed. But,
What went wrong?
they just weren't good enough. No.
You'll be following them again next year, though?
Pardon?
You're going to be following them again next year?
Oh, well, I have been for a few years now, so I'm going to stick with them.
Okay. Collingwood supporter?
Yeah, I won. We're beautiful, but I tell you what, Bartlett, isn't he beautiful? He's a
great
champion.
player.
He's the best footballer I've ever seen in my life, and I tell you what, it's a credit to him.
Thanks very much indeed, and all the best for...
Some of the Collingwood fans drowning their sorrows out at Della's pub in Collingwood. Good to see that they can still smile too after the thrashing they took today. Maybe it's Collingwood's year next year in season 1981. Who knows? They've waited that long now. One more year is not going to make that much difference, is it? Grand Final Roundup is your program on Channel 7, and we'll be back with more in just a moment. You're watching Grand Final Roundup on Channel 7. A look at what happened during the Grand Final, but mainly afterwards. And right now we're going up to the Southern Cross Hotel once again, where Stephen Phillips is celebrating with the Tigers, and with him at the moment he has Bruce Tempany.
Well, one man who would have been playing for Richmond in the grand final today, Bruce Tempany. Instead, you spent the day on crutches.
Yeah,
Not one of the more pleasant memories of football, is it?
No, it's a bit different. I'm pretty sure I know where I'd rather been.
Did you really have a great feeling for the boys as they ran out there this afternoon?
Oh, yeah, for sure. You know, I was very confident. Didn't matter. There was 20 Richmond players there. It didn't matter who it was. I was very confident that they'd win today.
Bruce, let's cast our minds back a fortnight. The match against Geelong, exactly what happened?
Well, I don't remember that much about it, actually. We just went up to punch the ball away from Terry Bright, and I just landed awkwardly, and I knew straight away that...
And you knew that your knee was gone?
Oh, it was the ankle, yeah.
Sorry, your ankle?
Yeah, it was... wasn't too brilliant, and so I just came straight off the ground.
And what, they operated on it almost immediately, didn't they?
Yeah, it was the following Wednesday. I went into hospital on the Sunday. It was the following Wednesday that they actually could tell if it was okay to play or not.
Well, one relief today when you were sitting in the grandstand watching the play, they never looked like losing, did they?
No, You could tell right from that first bounce I was sure that the boys were going to get over the flag.
Well, it was always next to you, Bruce, and I think that all Richmond supporters would agree that you played a large part in getting them into this year's final series.
Oh, I was pleased to be one of the players that played throughout the year, even though, well, the grand final's the one that counts.
Well, I hope you enjoy yourself tonight, and
sure I will.
We'll go back to the studios of Channel 7 and Peter Landy.
Good on you, Steve. I know exactly how Steve feels tonight because having compared about 9 or 10 grand final marathons myself, you find yourself looking for petrol tickets at this stage of Saturday night. Graham McNaney is another of our very busy on-the-road reporters this evening, going from Collingwood to Richmond. He's now landed in Richmond territory in Bridge Road. He's at the Town Hall Hotel. Let's go out to Bridge Road now and find out what's happening in Tiger territory.
How long have you been in here, boys, celebrating? Did you watch the game from in here or go to the game? Went to the game? Enjoyed it, no doubt? Been a Richmond supporter long? No. Richmond supporter for very long?
Many years.
This would have to be one of their greatest days, wouldn't it?
Yeah, look, well, I'm very happy about the whole deal tonight. What do you think?
Okay, thank you. We'll keep on going. Have a good night. Okay. Excuse me, sir. Richmond supporter?
My word.
Followed them long?
Yep.
How many grand finals would you have seen now?
About 30. Yep.
30 grand finals?
Yeah. Now, this is one of the greatest grand finals I've seen, simply because Richmond won it in such a way.
An 81-point win is very nice, isn't it?
I want to know whether Johnny Magpie's going to be in the personal columns of the Sun on Monday. It's going to cost him a lot to apologise.
That's right. He's been having quite a bit of a go in there throughout the finals, hasn't he?
Done rather well. Thrown a bit around.
Who do you think were the great players today?
Oh, there's no doubt about that Bartlett's a good player. That young lad, Lee, he's a good ruckman. He beat, like, you've got to get the ball away from the centre, and he did it. He got it away from the centre. Did it rather well. Raines is a good centre man. You've got to win them out those areas. Yep.
They had a lot of good players, didn't they?
Oh, they did.
All the best, and have good.
Best player, yeah.
And have a good celebration tonight. Excuse me. Hello, how are you?
I'm very well.
Happy, no doubt?
Very, very happy, yes. Very good game.
Followed Richmond long?
No, I was a Collingwood supporter, but now I've been converted. I was converted.
You've come round quite well.
Oh, tremendous.
Everybody in here have tickets today, or have they all been in the hotel this afternoon?
No, we had tickets.
So you enjoyed it there live?
Oh, it's tremendous.
Okay, have a great night. Cheers, mate. Well, you can see the atmosphere here at the hotel. It's absolutely magnificent. There's some Tasmanians over here. If we're going to move around to the group of Tasmanians. Did you watch the game live? Because we're now live. How was it?
Mr. McNaney, may I introduce Mr. Kelly to
this?
Remember that we are live.
I know you are live, right? Now, Richmond and Collingwood have had a lot of tradition between both clubs.
Right.
There's big tradition between both sides, right? And today, Richmond have cut that tradition right in half by winning by 13 goals, right? And sticking it right up by Collingwood, right?
And I take it from that you're pretty happy tonight.
We are very We are very happy, but I'm saying this cuts any ties we had with the Collingwood Football Club. We severed them today.
Okay. Can I hear the Richmond?
We can tell that was live. I just wonder how Graham McNaney, who is a Tasmanian himself, can tell other Tasmanians. I'm sure that there's something there that escapes us. Well, from one song to another, and you'll find this one perhaps a little bit more in tune. It was how the day really started at the Melbourne Cricket Ground today. Peter Allen, in fine voice before a crowd of over 113,000 fans. You probably didn't hear it as well as that, so we do hope you enjoyed the repeat performance from Peter Allen, I Still Call Australia Home. Well, there's plenty happening up at the Southern Cross Hotel tonight, where Richmond are celebrating their first premiership win since 1974. Stephen Phillips is our man on the scene. Let's go up there once again, Steve.